Today on Inquirer. Philippines files a diplomatic protest after a Chinese Coast Guard ship directed a military-grade laser to a Philippine Coast Guard vessel in a Union Shoal. Filipina earlier reported missing, found alive, days after the magnitude 7.8 earthquake in Turkey. First case of the most contagious XBB.1.5 Omicron subvariant, a local, according to the Department of Health. And on Valentine's Day, LTFRB surprises commuters with roses. Good evening. The Philippines protested today the harassment of a Chinese Coast Guard ship that directed a military-grade laser towards a Philippine Coast Guard vessel in a Union Shoal in the West Philippine Sea. To tell us more, here's Zakarian Sarao reporting live.
Yes, Denise, the Philippines, through the Department of Foreign Affairs, filed a diplomatic protest to the Chinese embassy in Manila following the harassment of a Chinese Coast Guard or CCG ship that directed a military-grade laser towards a Philippine Coast Guard vessel in a Union Shoal in the West Philippine Sea last February 6. To recall, the PCG vessel was supporting the Philippine Navy rotation and resupply mission in a Union Shoal when the incident happened. Then, the unprovoked elimination resulted in the temporary blindness of PCG crew members. According to DFA spokesperson Teresita Daza, the Philippines has the prerogative to conduct legitimate activities within its exclusive economic zone and continental shelf, adding that it is China who does not have the law enforcement rights or powers in and around a Union Shoal or any part of the Philippine EEZ. She tagged China's act of aggression as both quote-unquote disturbing and disappointing, as it came barely a month from President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s visit to Beijing in early January, where he and Chinese President Xi Jinping agreed to manage maritime differences through diplomacy and dialogue without resorting to force and intimidation. The DFA then called on China to comply with the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Seas, or UNCLOS, and the 2016 arbitral ruling, among other international laws. It can be recalled that in 2016, the Permanent Court of Arbitration ruled that the Philippines has rights in the West Philippine Sea, officially invalidating China's sweeping 9-dash line claim in the South China Sea. China, however, argued that it is the PCG vessel that intruded into their maritime territory, the Renai Reef. According to Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs Wang Wenbin, China merely acted, quote-unquote, in accordance with China's domestic and international law, including UNCLOS. Wenbin added that the CCG merely upheld China's, quote-unquote, sovereignty and maritime order, acting in a, quote-unquote, professional and restrained way. Earlier, the U.S. also tagged China's harassment as, quote-unquote, provocative and unsafe. According to U.S. Department of State spokesperson Ned Price, China's dangerous operational behavior directly threatens regional peace and stability and infringes upon freedom of navigation in the South China Sea as guaranteed under international law. Citing the Permanent Court of Arbitration's 2016 ruling, Price said that China has, quote-unquote, no lawful maritime claims to a Union Shoal. The U.S. then reiterated that it stands with the Philippines in upholding rules-based international maritime order, further reaffirming that an armed attack on Philippine armed forces, public vessels, or aircraft, including those of the Coast Guard in the South China Sea, would invoke U.S. mutual defense commitments under the 1951 U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty. Since 2016 and until January 26, the Philippines has filed a total of 461 diplomatic protests against China's intrusion into the West Philippine Sea. Back to you, Denise.
Yes, Zach, of the 203 diplomatic protests filed since last year, how many were launched during the administration of President Marcos?
Of the 461, I do not have the exact numbers for it, but only a few of them were filed during the time of Marcos. The long-standing fight between the Philippines and China because of the West Philippine Sea has been going on since the time of Duterte. Back to you again.
All right, thank you, Zach. That's Zakarian Sarao reporting live. Senator Risa Hontiveros asked China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs or MOFA to stop lying after it accused the Philippines of intruding into its maritime territory. This came after the Philippine Coast Guard or PCG reported that one of its vessels was harassed with a military-grade laser beam by a China Coast Guard ship in a Yungan shoal in the West Philippine Sea. However, Chinese MOFA spokesperson Wang Wenbin said that the PCG vessel was in Chinese territory, the Renai Reef. In a statement, Hontiveros rebutted China's claim that the Chinese vessel acted in accordance to international law. She cited the 2016 ruling of the Permanent Court of Arbitration that invalidated China's 9-line claim in the South China Sea. Hontiveros also urged China to stick to facts and get out of the West Philippine Sea. The senator added that China is using its military might to justify their blatant and dangerous disregard for international law. President Bongbong Marcos told Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky that the Philippines is one with them in their search for peace. In a Twitter post, Marcos revealed he had told Zelensky in a phone call that he, along with the Filipino people, admires the bravery and nationalism Ukraine has shown amid the war with Russia. He added that the Philippines is with Ukraine in their effort to reach a peaceful resolution to the ongoing conflict in their country. Earlier, Zelensky said in a tweet that he and Marcos had the first phone call in the history of bilateral relations with the Philippines. The Ukrainian president expressed gratitude to Marcos for his support for the Eastern European nation, where they discussed the strengthening of Philippine-Ukraine cooperation, particularly on international platforms. Next on Inquirer Today. Filipina earlier reported missing, found alive, days after the magnitude 7.8 earthquake in Turkey. First case of the most contagious XBB.1.5 Omicron subvariant, a local, according to the Department of Health. And on Valentine's Day, LTFRB surprises commuters with roses. This is Inquirer Today, and we'll be back shortly.
Mapatuloy man ang pagmahal ng sibuyas, hindi ito mahihigitan ang pagmamahal ko sa'yo.
Actually, idea ko yun. Nag-iisip kasi ako ng souvenir, ano kayang ibibigay ko na magiging useful sa mga bisita. Kasi sa mga nakikita ko sa normal wedding, mga displays, tapos kung ano-anong mga pinapamigay. Tapos naisipan ko, kasi ang dami naming sibuyas. Kaya sabi ko sa kanya, parang what if sibuyas na lang ang ipamigay natin?
Family business kasi yun ni Mrs. Naisipan lang niya namin na i-share yung blessings na natanggap namin. Since sibuyas talaga yung naging source of income nitong mga nakaraan. Kaya din sibuyas yung naisip namin. Since malayo kasi yung naging venue ng wedding namin, lahat ng bisita namin is from North, Ilocos and Bulacan. Nakita namin naman ng mga nakaraan, talagang trending si sibuyas. Na halos lahat ng post sa Facebook, lagi sinasabi, onion is gold. So naisip namin, para ganahan sila din pumunta doon sa wedding namin, sila magdalawang isip. So, ginawa namin talaga yun na free yung onion para pag-uwi nila, masaya naman silang uuwi.
Parang ang ginawa lang namin, in-announce lang namin na meron kaming pasibuyas. Which is effective naman kasi meron yung mga mag-anak lalo dito sa Bulacan na mga pumunta dahil mamimigay kami ng sibuyas.
Tuwan-tuwa sila eh.
Oo, sabi nila ito daw yung nakamahal na souvenir souvenir na natanggap nila. Meron yung mga negative comments na ginawa lang daw yun para mag-trend, mag-viral o magpasikat. Tapos sinasabi nila na sana yung ibinili ng sibuyas ay ibinila na lang ng ibang bagay. Kaya ginawa namin yun. Para makatipid na din sa wedding kasi instead na bumili pa kami ng other souvenirs, meron naman kaming resources na free na kukuhanin lang namin dito. Kaya yun na yung pinamigay namin. At least magiging masaya pa yung mga bisita kasi syempre sa sobrang mahal ng sibuyas ngayon. Talagang masakit sa bulsa bumili.
Pinansin kasi yung sibuyas kaysa doon sa isang giveaways namin na yung perfume. Mas gusto nila yung amoy sibuyas.
Amoy sibuyas kaysa sa magpabango.
A Filipina earlier reported missing has been found days after a magnitude 7.8 earthquake struck Turkey, according to the Philippine Embassy in Ankara. In a statement, the embassy said the Filipina is currently recovering in Adana Hospital. It added that their team in Mersin provided financial assistance. Apart from Belingan, the Mersin team also provided food assistance to Filipino-Turkish families in Antakya and Adiyaman. The embassy, through the Office of the Civil Defense, also donated relief items such as blankets, bonnets, and gloves. The embassy also reported that the Consul General has connected Filipino communities from across Turkey and the surrounding regions with local Filipino community coordinators, citing their readiness to mobilize and respond to emergencies affecting Filipinos in the region. Meanwhile, the first case of the XBB.1.5 Omicron subvariant, believed to be the most contagious among its types, was a local infection, according to the Department of Health or DOH. In a media forum, DOH officer in charge Maria Rosario Vergeres said the first XBB.1.5 case is a Filipino and was locally detected. Vergeres said the case also had no history of any type of travel, adding that his exposure was unknown. Vergeres noted that the patient carrying the said virus only suffered mild symptoms and has already recovered since their collection date on January 9. The XBB.1.5 is a recombinant of the BA.2.10.1 and BA.2.75 sublineages and has already caused substantial harm in the United States due to its immunity evasion properties.
Itong XBB.1.5 na case is a Filipino, local siya na detection. No? There were no histories of any type of travel. Unknown yung kanyang exposure. Nagkaroon lang siya ng kaunting mga simptomas na mild, nagkalagnat, sumakit ang kasu-kasuan. But right now, already recovered. Ang collection date natin was January 9.
Meanwhile, Vergeres in the same forum also assured the public that the DOH is also closely monitoring the CH1.1 or the Orthros Omicron subvariant of COVID-19. The CH1.1 subvariant is feared to be similar with the Delta variant. To recall, the DOH also recorded 3 cases of the said variant in its last COVID-19 biosurveillance report.
Itong CH.1.1, which is the Orthros variant, ito po ngayon ay isa sa binabantayan, and actually the WHO has already classified this subvariant as a variant under monitoring. Sa ngayon po dito sa ating bansa, we are closely monitoring our situation. Although tinitignan po natin kung ano po yung itong epekto nito sa ating mga severe or critical cases here and abroad.
In other news, the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board or LTFRB shared some love and cheer on Valentine's Day through fresh flowers handed out to a number of female commuters in Metro Manila. The LTFRB said that its enforcers set up a checkpoint in a special operation to conduct an inspection and at the same time, surprise commuters with fresh flowers. Among those who received flowers were 24 female senior citizens and persons with disabilities aboard modern and traditional jeepneys, taxis, UV Express units, and public utility buses in Balintawak and Quezon Avenue in Quezon City. LTFRB Chairperson Chafilo Guadis III said they wanted to spread good vibes to commuters on Valentine's Day, knowing the stress commuters experience every day. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Denisa Fernandez. Catch Inquirer Today live weekdays at 6 p.m. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net.